lot of rustling in the background. And welcome to Empower Yoga on Zoom. And why don't we get started, everybody? So we're going to get started how we often start out yoga classes by just coming into a cross-legged seated position. And when you come into a cross-legged seated position, I'd love for you just to simply move your body a little bit side to side. If at any time you're having a hard time hearing me, you can unmute yourself and tell me to speak up. So just start moving a little side to side. Find your center. And once you have your center, I'd love for you just to take one hand and place it above your heart. Take the other hand, place it above that. Close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, feel the day just melt off your shoulder. Start to soften and hinge your jaw. Take a deep breath in through your nose and open your mouth wide and exhale slowly out through the mouth. Take another full deep breath in through your nose. Exhale. Now this time as you breathe in, I invite you to lift the corners of your mouth, just a gentle smile as you breathe in. Keeping your lips sealed, a gentle smile as you're exhaling out. Breath in and out through the nose with gentlest of smiles. And feeling this sense of support. So there's about 100 people practicing and breathing with you right now. Feeling the support of the community. I'm not 100% sure how many dogs there are practicing right now or how many children are accompanying. But I want to welcome all of you. I want to welcome all of you to your mats. Welcome yourself to the present moment. You take a moment to feel like I welcome this breath as I breathe in and breathe out. Taking time to welcome the next inhale, and then welcoming the opportunity to exhale. Every time we exhale, it's just an opportunity to set something down. We'll keep breathing. If you'd like to start your Ujjayi breathing, so Ujjayi breath, we're just making it a little audible. So this can help us create a little bit more heat. 98 people now. 100 people in there. As we move to the practice tonight, please remember to always honor what you're feeling.
I put it on the Appleton website.
If you came here simply for the community, please honor that. I invite you to sit here in a comfortable cross-legged seat or to lie down in Shavasana whenever you'd like. If you're holding your yoga pose longer, please do that. Let's take one more deep breath in. Then when you exhale, gently open your eyes. And once your eyes are open, let's find our way into a comfortable child's pose. So for child's pose, you can take your knees wide, bring your toes together. Take a moment to stretch your arms out forward and let your hips comfortably back. Let your forehead come down towards the floor if you'd like to.
Just quiet.
Low or a yoga block.
I don't want to.
Begin to scan your body and observe and notice any places or spaces that could use just a little bit more care tonight. Maybe you are feeling a little tension through your hips. Send your breath there. Maybe you need a breath for your low back. Maybe you can feel your breath expanding and changing the shape of your rib cage. Maybe you can send your breath to soften any places and spaces in your mind that have been holding on or feeling tense. Knowing that you're not alone, all of us have had days, moments in the past couple of weeks where we have been filled with worry, anxiety, knowing that we're not alone. But there's also been an opportunity for the counter. So in this moment, as you breathe in, I'd like for you just to bring in one thing that you feel grateful for. I know the one thing that I feel super grateful for, and I'm going to try not to cry, is all of you. Thank you for showing up today. Thank you for supporting each other through this practice. I have so much gratitude. Start to notice where you feel gratitude in your body and send your breath there. Through your heart space, you feel gratitude in the front of your heart, the back of your heart. You feel gratitude in your physical body somewhere else. Send your breath there. Good. Breathe a little bigger and let it expand with every breath. Good. Now let's simply walk the hands off of our mats to the right. So once your hands walk off the mat to the right side, you can allow your left hip to sink a little more towards your left heel. And here we'll take some deep breaths into the sides of our body. Side body stretches are wonderful if you've been sitting at a desk today. Maybe you've been sitting helping your kids do their online studies, or maybe you're like me and you watched an entire season of Somebody Please Feed Phil. But whatever it is, we're just breathing into it and allowing our breath to give a little shift of energy. Good. Walk the hands back to the center, and then you can walk your hands all the way up towards the left side of your mat, and hips are sinking to the right. Wisdom, your inner teacher, is so incredibly wise. When we practice yoga, it's an opportunity for us to reconnect with that wisdom, that truth, that teacher, that guidance that's within us. Okay, take one more deep breath. Then we'll come back to the center and rise up slowly to a tabletop position. In tabletop pose, take your right hand and stretch it straight up to the sky, preparing for threading the needle pose. And then thread the right arm underneath the left, placing your right shoulder and possibly your right ear onto your mat. Here you might choose to stretch your left hand forward towards the front of your mat. You might also want to wind your arm behind your back, reaching for your right hip. If you notice that it becomes challenging to breathe, try easing up a little bit, maybe taking it back 10% or 20%. If it's hard to connect with your breath, I invite you to make adjustments, modifications, or simply skip a pose that doesn't serve your well-being today. Good. Let's release by sliding the left hand underneath the shoulder. Press into it. Come back up to that right hand, reaching straight up to the sky. Place the right hand down on the floor. Left side, inhale your left arm up and then thread the needle. Arm goes underneath. Placing your shoulder and your temple on the mat. Maybe the right arm winds behind your back. Practicing mindfulness, which means to awaken to your senses, to observe how you feel physically in the pose. Maybe even to notice the sounds around you, the sound of your breath. Now let's go ahead and slide the left hand back up to the sky, releasing the pose. Place your left hand down onto your mat. Cat and cow pose will be next. When you inhale, look to the sky and lift your tailbone upward for cow pose. When you exhale, round your back, look towards your navel for your cat pose. On the inhalation, we'll move into cow pose. As you're exhaling, round your back and push the floor away with your palms for cat. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat. One more time. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat. And come back into a neutral tabletop position. And then from here, walk your hands forward about another 6 inches. Tuck your toes underneath and lift your seat to the sky, downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, we want to create as much space as we can. So push the floor away with your palms. And palms are even, thumbs pressing down, pointer finger pressing down, and then evenly distribute your weight. As you push the mat away, draw the lower abdomen up higher to the ceiling. And please feel free to bend your right knee, then your left knee. If you'd like to, you can wag your tail. Whenever you feel ready to, you can start to work your legs a little straighter, pressing your thighs towards the back of your mat. Heels can drop down a little heavier, but they don't have to touch the earth. And those of you that are regulars in my yoga class, this is usually the time where I use a really old joke where I say, if this is the first time you're doing an Empower Yoga class, this is the only pose and we do it for an hour. And I can't hear your feedback because you're on mute, so this is really interesting. But anyways, I'm just kidding. Let's go ahead and kick the right leg up towards the sky. And then step your right foot forward between your palms. Once you're there, take your right hand up to the sky for a low lunge twist. Take a few deep breaths here. One of the things that I find to be really helpful when I practice is having a gentle smile. It's not for the way that it looks on the video. Obviously, we can all see each other. It's simply because it actually changes the biochemistry of the body. Your body actually feels better when you smile. So please feel free to use that whenever you feel like you just want to take a little bit of tension out of the moment. So release the hand down towards the floor and step your right foot back, coming into a high plank position. When you're in a high plank position, some of the things that I'd love for you to just sort of focus on is push your mat away with your hands. Take your low ribs and lift them up into your body. You might even want to think about lengthening your tailbone back towards your heels and pushing your heels away from your shoulders. Good, and then from there, what we'll do is have the option of placing the knees down whenever you'd like to. So let's bend the elbows straight back and lower slowly all the way down to the floor. Once you arrive on the floor, you can untuck your toes, right? So as we untuck the toes, we have the hands underneath the shoulders. Squeeze your legs together and press the tops of your feet down. With an inhalation, lift your chin and your chest up off the mat for a gentle cobra pose. As you exhale, bring your chin back down. Repeating that 2 more times. On the inhalation, lift the chin, chest up for a gentle cobra. And as you exhale, the chin comes down. Nice. Inhale, lift up, chin, chest. Maybe it comes a little bit bigger. Cobra feels right. And then bring the chin back down towards the mat. Press up into a plank pose or a tabletop position. And downward facing dog. Left leg will lift up towards the sky. Step your left foot forward between your hands, coming into a low lunge. And then left hand is reaching up to the sky, low lunge twist. Feel your breath. Notice how you're feeling today in your body, your mind, your emotion, or energy self. And then release your left hand down. We'll step it back again into a high plank pose. Legs can be straight or knees down. This time we're sliding forward an inch or so. Keep pushing the floor away and try to lower yourself down just 2 inches. Low plank chaturanga. Upward facing dog is next. Flip to the tops of your feet and knees and thighs are going to lift up off of the mat. So an upward facing dog, if we can lift the knees up, it supports the low back a little bit more. And then come back to downward facing dog, reaching your seat up to the sky. Look forward to your hands, walk your feet to the top of your mat. We'll take ragdoll pose, separate your feet as wide as your hips. When you fold forward, you can have a deep bend in the knees, grabbing for the opposite biceps. Let your head hang heavy. Maybe you nod your head yes, shake it no. Some of you are already swaying back and forth like an elephant trunk. And as your body is upside down, begin to feel and observe a sense of decompression. Decompression of the spine. Maybe a little bit of decompression of the mind. Imagine just every thought you've had today is just tumbling out of the mind. Now from here, let's release the hands down towards the ground. You can interlace your fingers behind your back, taking your knuckles up towards the ceiling and then maybe stretching them overhead towards the front of your mat. Find the sweet spot, so a place that's not feeling like too much and it's not too little. You're able to breathe, staying present. And then release your hands down towards the floor. Keeping your feet hip-width apart on an inhalation, take a halfway lift. So create a little space and length. So halfway lift looks a lot like a swimmer on a starting block. I always like to practice it with the knees bent a little bit more and the fingertips touching the earth. Try looking down towards your toes so that your neck stays long. On the next exhalation, we can fold forward. Knees can be deeply bent, head is hanging heavy. Try to release your neck by letting your head just drop like a coconut that's ready to fall from the tree. On the next inhalation, we'll press down into the floor and rise up slowly to standing. When you come up to standing, sweep your arms up towards the sky, reaching up. Maybe think about just gathering some good energy from all the yogis that are practicing with you today, and bring your hands to your heart. Once your hands are at your heart, you can gaze down softly to your fingertips, or maybe close your eyes. Take a moment to press your thumb knuckles to your breastbone and locate your heartbeat. Expand your breath and feel your ribcage moving as you inhale and exhale. Take a moment to set your own personal intention for practice today. And if nothing arises, might I offer an intention of simply gratitude for community. To know and be surrounded by so many like-minded individuals, people that are interested in feeling their best so that they can be in their centered self, so that they can be a little bit closer to their truth. Feeling a little more inspired by just simply all of the empowered yogis that are practicing with us today. So let's take a deep breath in. And when you exhale, you can open your eyes, relax your hands down at your sides. We'll begin our sun salutation. Stretch your arms up to the sky for mountain pose Tadasana. Gazing upward is optional. And when you exhale, you can fold forward, you can swan dive, or bring your hands down to your heart, coming into a forward fold. Once you're in your forward fold, inhale, come to a halfway lift. Let's create a lot of length. Nice. Now plant your hands, step back into your high plank position. Your choice, legs straight or knees down. And we're going to lower down halfway. On the inhalation, come to an upward facing dog, or you can take cobra pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Exhale out. Take a deep breath in. Empty all of it out. Step or hop your feet to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Stepping back on the exhale to high plank, lowering down to chaturanga or to the mat. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Exhale out. One more deep breath in. Exhale it out. Step or hop your feet to the top of your mat. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, mountain pose, reaching up tall. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga, stepping back and lowering down. Inhale, upward or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a few deep breaths here on your own. You notice, observe how you're feeling. The yoga asanas, the physical practice, helps prepare the mind to be in a meditative state. It is not uncommon for the mind to be busy. Even as we start our yoga class, we might need to get very far into the yoga class before the mind feels a little bit more meditative. If you're observing the mind drifting, sometimes when we practice at home, inevitably you'll see like a dust bunny under a table or something. It starts to distract you, or maybe you're getting messages or emails. I encourage you to notice the distraction without any judgment, and simply return to feeling your breath. Yeah, go ahead and look to your hands. You can step or hop your feet to the top of your mat. Inhale, come to a halfway lift, flat back. Exhale and fold forward. On your inhalation, reach up to the sky for a mountain pose, lifting up. Guide your hands to your heart and sit back into chair pose. Chair pose or Utkatasana can be practiced with your feet hip width apart. This is often a very good choice if you have low back pain. And then if the feet are hip width apart, we want to make sure that we imagine that we're like holding onto a soccer ball between the knees, just to give a little bit of engagement at the inner thighs. The arms can stretch out towards the sky, palms facing in. If you feel tension in your shoulders, just see if you can soften through your trapezius, your traps, the muscles between the neck and the shoulder. Okay, we'll take a deep breath in. On the exhalation, take the arms back like airplane wings, leaning the torso forward. Send your gaze down towards your toes. Begin to hug your shoulder blades together, and then try flipping your palms to the sky. Now have the back of your hands face towards the front of your mat, your fingertips down. We'll do an exercise called painting the fence. So the fingers are down. On an inhalation, reach your arms up towards the sky, palms facing towards you. On the exhale, imagine that you're smearing paint onto a fence and reach the arms back. Inhale, painting the fence. This is really great for the wrists. Exhale, send it back. One more time, inhale. Exhale, reaching back. Good, hold here. If you want to lift your heels up, we got to build a little bit of heat, right? Because we're not in a heated yoga studio. So if you're not enjoying this moment, that's okay. This too shall pass. Take one more breath. Drop the heels down. Inhale the arms up, stand tall to a mountain pose. And then fold forward on the exhalation. Inhale, come to a halfway lift, flat back. On your exhalation, plant your hands, step back to high plank. And then hold your high plank pose. In high plank pose, you can always choose to pause here and skip chaturangas and upward dogs. You can also shift yourself right back to down dog, which we'll do right now. Reach your hips up to the sky. On your next inhalation, take your right leg and lift it upward. As you exhale, step your right foot forward between your hands. Place your back knee down onto the floor, and then half split pose is next. Shift your hips back, flex your right foot, and begin to lean gently forward until you feel a sensation of stretch through your right leg. Nice. Now bend the front knee, walk your fingertips forward, draw your heart forward, and then as you draw your heart forward, notice the stretch through the front of the left hip, maybe lower abdomen. If you need a little bit more, you're welcome to come up higher. If you have a really hard surface underneath your mat, you might want to grab a towel and place it underneath your knee. Good. Then from here, tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee up, and we'll step back into downward facing dog. Once you get back into your downward facing dog, inhale forward and come to the high plank pose again. Legs are going to be straight, or you'll have your knees down. Push the floor away. Draw the low ribs up. Good. Now press back, downward facing dog. And you can absolutely add extra chaturangas or push-ups in there anytime. Take your left leg up to the sky. On your exhalation, step left foot forward between your hands. Back knee comes down, half split. Begin to slide your left hip back. Working your front leg a little straighter, flexing the left foot. Toes are pointing up towards the sky. Very nice. And begin to bend your left knee. Draw your heart forward. Rise up onto the fingertips. Feel a sense of release through the shoulders and neck, your jaw. Breath is a deep. And breath is opportunity to create a little bit more meditation. Now we'll go ahead and tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee up, and step it back, downward facing dog. On your inhalation, we'll come forward into a high plank pose. Here I invite you in high plank to stay and pause. If you'd like to, you can slide forward and lower down 2 inches, and then back up to your high plank pose for a chaturanga push-up. Maybe you slide forward again, and you lower back down for a second chaturanga push-up. Press it back up to plank. And then maybe one more time we come forward, you lower down, this time upward or cobra pose on an inhalation, and then downward facing dog as you exhale out. Beautiful, guys. Take a breath in. Open mouth, exhale. One more time, breathe in. Open mouth, exhale. Look forward to your hands, step or hop forward. I love that when you're home, like you can totally play around with hopping, right? Because like maybe you fall, but you won't really fall on anyone else, right? Inhale to a halfway lift. On the exhalation, fold forward. Go ahead and step back to your downward facing dog. And then we're actually all gonna hop forward. So this is what I want you to do. I'd like for you to imagine that you're trying to jump over a log. So you're gonna bend your knees really deeply, reach your seat super high in the air, look forward and imagine trying to jump your feet over a log to the front of your mat. Now do that 2 more times. And if jumping is not for you, just enjoy watching other people, having fun, being curious and brave, taking a leap, right? Very good. Try it 1 more time, hop forward. Once you get forward, pause for a second, let your feet be hip width apart, dangle forward, take another ragdoll, grab the opposite elbow, let your head be below your heart, allowing for a moment for the heart rate to come down and for us to reconnect with our breath. And then release your hands down towards the floor. Inhale, come to a halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. On the inhalation, rise up to mountain pose, reaching to the sky. Exhale, hands come to the heart, sit back into your chair pose. Reach your arms back like airplane wings, lean the torso forward. Inhale, the arms reach back up, tall chair pose. And then from here, we'll bring the hands out in front of us at shoulder height, palms face in. Right arm is gonna dial back towards the back of the room, taking a chair twist. In the chair twist, the hardest part, I think, is to try to create length through the spine. So on the inhalation, see if you can get a little bit taller, but you sit a little bit lower. And then on the exhale, you twist a little more. On the inhalation, come back to the center, reach up. And then on the exhale, take the left arm, dial it back. If you'd like, you could add looking towards your left hand or your back hand. Inhale, we'll come back. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift on your inhalation. On your exhalation, plant your hands, sit back to high plank. Maybe you choose to stay here or lower to a chaturanga. Upward dog on your inhale, downward facing dog on the exhale. Send your right leg up towards the sky as you breathe in. On your exhalation, step your right foot forward between your hands, moving into a warrior 1 pose. In warrior 1, back heel spins down. Okay, squaring simply your shoulders forward, and then peek down and note that your knee is stacked over your ankle, or even behind the ankle is fine. If you notice that your knee's pushing past your ankle, take your back foot and scoot it towards the back of your mat, making a longer space. Arms can reach up towards the sky. We'll take about 3 deep breaths. 2 more breaths. Take 1 more inhale. Now when you exhale, open to a warrior 2. In warrior 2 pose, arms extend out at shoulder height. You can gaze down, aligning the knee over the ankle or just behind it. You can always take the longer stance. Send your gaze out beyond the tips of your right fingers. And then take your shoulders and reach them up towards your ears. Good, then relax your shoulders down. Twice more, shoulder shrug and release. Shrugging the shoulders actually releases tension through the upper back, so release that down. Good. Taking 3 breaths. 2 more breaths. 1 more breath in. And you exhale, sink down just a little bit lower, flip your palm to the sky, and then reverse your warrior, reaching up. In reverse warrior, you can have your hand on your back leg. Some like to bring the hand behind the back, supporting the low back. And I personally like to look towards the back foot versus looking up. It just feels easier to breathe. And when I can breathe, I feel more present in my body, less reactive. 1 more breath in. On the exhalation, release your hands to your mat. Step back into your high plank pose. We could choose to hold the high plank or lower down to chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take your left leg up to the sky as you breathe in. Step your left foot forward. Heel spins down, warrior 1. In warrior 1, the back foot is pointing towards 2 o'clock. You can take a longer stance, feel it out. Send your right shoulder forward, left shoulder back. And then I like to really press through the back foot and engage the back quadricep like it's hugging the thigh bone. Okay, a couple more breaths here. 1 more inhale. Then on the exhalation, open to your warrior 2 pose. When you come into warrior 2, we sink down, gaze out beyond your fingertips. Maybe shrugging your shoulders up and down a few times, softening those places of tension. Maybe even taking a moment to unhinge your jaw, releasing the muscles of the face. One more inhale. Now sink a little bit lower if it's possible and flip your palm up. Take a reverse warrior, reach up, stretching back. Gazing to the ceiling is a little bit more of a front body opener or a heart opening pose. Gazing towards your back foot is going to give you more of a side stretch. Side stretches are great if you've had a long day sitting at a desk. Take one more inhale. On the exhalation, release your hands down to your mat. Step it back into your plank pose. Option to lower down for our chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, take a breath or two in your down dog. We're going to start to move one breath per movement, moving into a flow. What's really nice about moving in a flow is that you can go at your own pace, and you can also choose to skip them and come into child's pose whenever you'd like. On the inhalation, take your right leg and lift it up to the sky. As you exhale, step your right foot forward between your hands. Inhale to a warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, high plank, maybe lowering to chaturanga. Inhale to an upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left leg lifting high, breathe in. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, high plank, maybe low plank chaturanga. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Take 3 deep breaths. Push the floor away with your palms, lift your tailbone high. Find a focal point for your eyes, steady your mind. Breathe in, breathe out. One more cycle, right leg lifting high in your inhale. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, high plank. Maybe you're lowering down to your chaturanga. Upward facing dog and downward facing dog. Left leg is lifting up to the sky, breathing in. Step your left foot forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Reverse your warrior, breathe in. Releasing your hands to your mat, high plank pose. Lowering down to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pause here. And I think we should probably do this one more time because I want to ensure that we're being warriors, not warriors, right? So let's practice our warrior sequence one more time. On an inhale, take your right leg up to the sky. Exhale, step your foot forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Feel your strength. Reverse warrior, inhale. Exhale, chaturanga, feeling the power within you. Upward facing dog, wide across the collarbones. Downward facing dog. Left leg lifts. Step left foot forward. Rise up. And open to your warrior two. Reverse warrior, big breath in. Good long exhalation through your high plank. If you're lowering to chaturanga, elbows draw back. Upward dog. And downward facing dog. Good, pause, breathe. Take a breath in. Once you've exhaled it out, look to your hands, step to the top of your mat. On your inhalation, we'll come to a halfway lift. Exhale, folding forward. Rise up, tall mountain pose, reach the sky. Guide your hands to your heart, sit back into your chair pose. I know we haven't been together in 2 weeks and there's so many dang chair poses today, right? Let's take one more breath in. Lean your heart forward a little bit and then twist to the right side, hooking your left elbow to your knee. From here, I'd like for you to take your left hand to your heart and your right hand up to the sky. So with the left hand in the heart, the right hand up to the sky, feel your heart, feel your breath. If you notice the absence of the breath, I invite you to back off just a little bit, maybe bring the hands back to the heart or taking a forward fold. One more breath. And then let's release down and fold forward. Take your feet and separate them hip width apart. Loop your big toes with your 2-piece fingers so that the palms face in towards each other. The elbows can easily then bend away from the heart and let your head hang heavy. Really relax the weight of your head. Feel the back of your neck lengthen. If you'd like to intensify, you can spin your inner thighs towards the back wall a little bit, and then draw and lift your lower abdomen up towards the ceiling a little more, still staying in the forward fold. Then from here, we'll release our hands from our feet, and on inhalation, and come to a halfway lift. Create a lot of length and space. Now as you exhale, step your left foot back into a low lunge position. Take a moment to notice that your feet are aligned with your hip bones instead of aligned with the tailbone or at the center of the mat. Press into your feet, and on a long inhalation, reach your arms up to crescent lunge. Crescent lunge can be practiced with the back knee resting down. Really beautiful choice if you have low back pain. Otherwise, let's power up the back leg a little bit and press through the heel. We want to be engaged through the core. Mainly the lower abdomen is lifting up like you're smiling, but we want to make sure that we can expand the rib cage with the breath. So really expand your breath in your rib cage. Take one more breath here. On your exhalation, bring your hands down to your heart. Lean your torso forward towards your front thigh and then twist to the right, hooking your left elbow on the outside of your leg. You can gaze over your shoulder. This would be like a nice opportunity to see if you can have like a soft, serene, Buddha-like face as you're facing challenges and difficulty, because we all are facing some really interesting challenges, unknowns, right? So breathe. All we can do is breathe. One more inhale, and then release your hands down towards your mat. Once your hands are at the mat, walk your right foot all the way forward and place your back knee down. If your back knee resting down is uncomfortable, you can actually take your yoga mat and make it like double it up so you can pad underneath your knee with your mat. Taking a moment for that if you'd like. Otherwise, winged dragonfly is next. So I don't even think this is called winged dragonfly, but I just think that it sounds really pretty. So I think normally they call it lizard pose, but the knee drops out to the right. You can roll to the edge of the foot, and you can have your hands underneath you. Some might want to come down to the elbows, which is going to be a little bit deeper for the front leg, a little bit more gentle for the hip flexor on the back leg maybe. Another option, if you'd like to, you can bend your back knee. Take your right hand to your right thigh, roll the thigh away from you and look to your back foot, and then maybe you grab your foot if it's available. Right, but what's really nice is that if it's not available today, it might be available tomorrow, next year, next decade, right? Maybe next lifetime, right? There's no rushing the practice. We have the rest of our lives, the rest of our journeys to explore these poses. Let's release the foot down. Walk your foot over to the middle line of your mat. Okay? Lift your back knee up and hop your back foot in a little bit closer. When the foot is closer, you want to spin the heel down like a warrior one stance, and then take your right thumb and place it in your right hip crease. Slide your right hip back a little bit, and then start to fold forward, dropping your head down. The front knee can be deeply bent. Having tighter hamstrings is totally normal, and that's most of the reason why a lot of people get started with practicing yoga, is to help improve flexibility. So here we're just accepting, observing, no judging, keep breathing. Now we'll bend the front knee, plant your hands, step it back into a plank position. Side plank pose will be next. Bring your feet together, rolling over to your right hand. And once you roll to your right hand, you can take your left hand up to the sky. Okay. Now I want everyone to place your left hand back down. Slide your right hand, so you come back into plank pose, slide your right hand 2 inches forward on your mat. Now roll back into your side plank and notice if it feels different. I hope it feels better, a little more stable for your shoulder, a little easier for the wrist. Good. Knee can come down too, anytime. We'll just hold this for like a half hour or something. All right, release the hand down. Good, come back. High plank pose, option for chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog, and move to downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Exhale it all out. Take a deep breath in. Big exhale out. Look to your hands, step or hop your feet to the top of your mat. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise to mountain pose, reaching tall. Guide your hands to your heart, sit back into your chair pose, preparing for your prayer twist, left side. Lean your heart forward and twist to the left. Hooking the right elbow on the outside of the thigh. This time the right hand comes through the heart center and the left hand is going to reach up towards the sky. And feel the life force within you. Maybe we stretch more length through the spine on the inhale, twisting a little deeper on the exhale. Good, now fold forward, releasing. Separate your feet hip width apart if they're not already, sliding the palms face up underneath the bottoms of your feet. Padahastasana, or hand under foot pose. The palms are face up, the toes might even be coming all the way to the crease of the wrist. Head hangs heavy, elbows bend, away from the heart. I really love right now, somebody has some children that are wrestling, I think, which is really great. I see some dogs in the pictures. And just in this moment, as your head is hanging heavy and we're getting a little more present, right, more grounded, just take a moment again to remember that there's 100+ people and animals practicing yoga with you right now. Feel their energy, feel the support, the connection. Good, let's release the hands from the feet. On the inhale, come to a halfway lift. When you exhale, step your right foot back so you're in a low lunge position. Crescent lunges next. Press into the feet and inhale the arms up to the sky. I know it can be really hard to balance in crescent lunge when your dogs are almost knocking you over. So inner thighs hug towards each other. Okay. Imagine that you're smiling with your lower abdomen. And I hope from this moment on, every time you think about your lower abdomen, you smile and you're like, I love you. All right, that might be a little bit too much. Okay, take one more breath. Now bring your hands together at your heart, lean your torso forward, and then twist to the left side, hooking your right elbow on the outside of your thigh. Always note that the back knee can come down, which is stabilizing for the pelvis and the low back. Anywhere you are, if you lift up a little more through your lower abdomen, it helps you to get a little bit more length, and then maybe you can twist a bit more. Good, one more inhale. Nice, release your hands down towards your mat. And we'll move into winged dragonfly. So we're walking the left foot forward, back knee resting down. Maybe you take a moment to pad the back knee. Palms or come down onto elbows. Observing here that there's no rush. There's lots of time to explore this pose. I think even now for most of us, that's a big message, is that we're getting an opportunity to have some time to do something maybe differently than what we had originally planned for ourselves or envisioned for our April. But can we just be present, taking it one moment at a time, one breath at a time? You could bend your back knee, maybe you look back, reach back for your foot. Nice work. Go ahead and lift back up. Walk your foot to the middle of your mat. We'll take our pyramid pose. So we're lift the back knee up. Hop your back foot in, probably a foot closer, and then spin the heel down like warrior one. Left thumb can come to your hip crease. Slide your left hip back. Start to fold forward. Let your chin tuck slightly to your chest. And bend your front knee, plant your hands, step it back into your plank position. And this time we'll go ahead and start out by sliding the left hand 2 inches forward. And then roll to your left hand, sweeping the right hand up to the sky. And you can push the mat away so that you can get a little more uplift. I also think reaching up higher gives you a lot more stability. Keep reaching to the ceiling, engaging your legs, flexing the feet. Now releasing the hand down towards your mat, coming into your high plank pose. From your high plank pose, you're going to lower all the way down to the ground. Yeah, once you get down to the ground, arms are going to be long at your sides. Yeah, just come all the way to resting on your abdomen. Arms are long. Flip a cheek to the floor, whichever one you like, and take a moment to breathe. This is a beautiful opportunity too to just check in, to note how you feel, how the movement, the breathing, the support of your fellow yogis has helped to shift. Have you felt anything physically shifting, tension? Have you felt any shifts, the mind less cluttered, busy, worried? Have you felt any emotional shifts or energetic? Just observing. Good. Then bring your chin back onto the mat. Have your arms long at your sides. So the palms are going to be facing up towards the ceiling, chin down. Feet can be hip width apart, and you can have your feet pressed down to the floor. On the inhalation, let's lift the chin, chest, and arms up, keeping the feet grounded. So the feet pressed down, the kneecaps might be lifting up a little bit, and then keep reaching your fingers towards the back of your mat as you lift up a little higher. Now on an inhalation, see if you can broaden across your collarbones and lift through the back of your heart. If you feel strain in your neck, you can look down a little more. Take one more breath. Nice, and then release down. Relax the other cheek onto the mat. One tip if you have stiffness in the neck is to have your elbows bent at the top of your mat and to stack your hands and to rest the cheek on the stacked hands. It just sometimes feels a little bit better. Here you could sway your heels a little side to side, releasing through your low back. Good, and then let's bring the chin back onto the mat. This time we're interlacing the fingers behind the back. On an inhalation, begin to lift your chin, chest up and lift the knuckles up, reaching them towards the back of the room. Feeling the stretch across maybe the chest and the shoulders. If you'd like, you can add lifting your feet up as well. This is strengthening all the muscles on the back body, including the glutes and the hamstrings. Keep lifting, breathe. And then release down slowly. Once you get all the way down, maybe you're stacking your hands and resting your cheek there or arms long at your sides. And take a moment to breathe. And then we'll bring the chin onto the mat. Next posture, you can bend the knees. First choice, reach back as far as you can. For parachuting pose, you might want to flex your feet if you're doing parachuting pose. And then imagine that you have plates resting on your feet and you're going to lift the plates up towards the ceiling. If bow pose is an option for you, you can reach back and capture your feet or your ankles. From there, you kick your feet into your hands, start to lift up into bow, Dhanurasana. So imagine like an archer drawing back an arrow, right? Creating some tension. Okay, take one more inhale. And then when you release, release slowly. Come down slow. Relax the opposite cheek of last time on the mat. Now this time you're going to bend the knees, draw your heels side to side in a windshield wiper-like fashion. Maybe a circle. Then place your hands underneath your shoulders and rise up slowly, coming into a tabletop position. From your tabletop position, okay, sit your hips off to one side and then come to a seated. I'm going to need Reggie for this pose. So we're going to move into Navasana or boat pose, and you may or may not be able to see me, but I have, this is Reggie, our Yoga Scotty's favorite pose. Can you bring?
Oh, sure.
So in boat pose, you want to have a V shape. I know that you guys all know boat pose because nobody's doing it. You're all like, I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to wait until she's doing it. And we're all doing it together. All right. So you're going to lift your feet up off of the floor. Okay. And then from there, you could reach your arms out. You could give your dog a kiss. If you smile, it makes it so much easier. Actually, I feel like this is probably the easiest boat pose we've ever done. What do you think? Now, if you want, you can lower down into a half boat pose. Okay. Stretching your body out long. Come back up into boat. Lower down, half boat pose. Back up to boat. Good, lower down. Now all the way down onto your back. Once you get onto your back, bend your knees. Place your feet onto the floor. Sway your knees a little bit side to side to loosen up through your low back. And then we'll do one bridge. And if anyone's creating a wheel pose, you're more than welcome to move your bridge into a wheel. So let's just start with the feet hip width apart. Press into your feet and lift your hips up towards the sky. As your hips are lifting up, you can tuck your arms underneath you, interlacing your fingers. If you're going into wheel pose, place your hands underneath or behind your shoulders, fingers face forward. You press into your hands to lift up into your wheel pose. Heart is pressing towards the back of the room. Take a breath in. Now let's release it all down. Once you come down, windshield wiper your knees side to side. Bring the bottoms of your feet together and let your knees butterfly open. If butterfly pose doesn't feel right for you, you can take your knees, knocking them into the center, feet wide as the edges of the mat. Bring your hands back to just resting somewhere where you can feel your breath. Maybe that's your abdomen, maybe that's your heart. Take a moment to close your eyes. And then draw your knees together. Once the knees are together, we'll be taking a supine pigeon pose. Drawing the knees up, cross your right ankle over the top of your left thigh, flexing the foot. Here you can keep the left foot on the floor. You can draw the left knee in towards your chest. Hold behind your left thigh with both hands or even on top of the shin. The left leg could straighten up towards the sky. If you're doing the leg straight, just be mindful if you're feeling tension on your left knee, just to bend the knee a little bit to take the pressure off the knee. Release this side, setting your left foot on the floor, then setting your right foot on the floor. Pause for just a moment before you move and just notice the after effect of the pose. Notice how you feel through your right hip, your right glute. And then we'll do the left side. Take your left ankle, cross it over, flex the foot. Draw the knee in towards you. Maybe you want to hold behind your right thigh with both hands or on top of the shin. Always find even the angle that you have your right heel at can make a difference. Having the heel closer to the seat feels one way. Having the heel aligned with the knee at a 90-degree angle bend feels one way. Maybe working your heel up towards the ceiling feels just a little bit different. And let's release the foot down towards the floor. Pause with your knees bent. Take a moment to feel. And then send your right leg up towards the sky. Foot is flexed, knee can be bent. We're holding behind the right thigh, calf or the top of the foot. If you'd like to, you could extend your left leg long in front of you. And if you'd like a little more intensity, you could draw your face up towards your leg and your leg towards your face, bending the elbows, maybe even using the weight of the upper body to help deepen the stretch. And then release the side. Send the right leg long. Take your left leg up to the sky. Hold behind the thigh, calf, top of foot. Maybe draw your nose up towards your knee, the knee towards the nose. And release that side. Draw both of your knees in towards your chest, giving yourself a really nice hug. Happy baby pose is next. You can grab for your big toes, palms at the soles of your feet. You could also hold on to your knees or shins. Low back starts to drop down towards the floor a little bit until it feels like a really good stretch. If it does not feel good, no need to force that. You could press your hands down into your feet. Maybe push your feet up into your hands a little bit. I always find that this is a nice time to just close the eyes and start to tune out the external world. One of the gifts of a yoga practice is it helps us to connect with the inner refuge. You could even call it like an inner retreat, sort of this inner sanctuary that's always with us, this place of peace that is us. When external circumstances are chaotic, scary, creating anxiety or worry, stress, we can come to our mats, we can breathe, we can move. We can remember that this retreat, this refuge is always there for us whenever we want to recognize it, whenever we want to turn our attention back inward. And then go ahead and draw your knees into your chest. We'll take a supine twist, extend your arms out like a capital T. Here you can take your right leg and cross it over your left leg for twisted root. This is a deeper spinal twist though, so if you try it and it doesn't work for your body, please feel free to unwind the legs, keeping the knees stacked, and drop your knees over to the left side of the room. As you drop your knees to the left side of the room, it is okay if the right shoulder pops up. Just feel a sense of surrender. Let gravity start to press down on you. Maybe start to feel your face soften. Maybe you're feeling a sense of remembering this place within you that is always peaceful. You call it your source, your resource, your center. And we'll come slowly back to the center. And taking the twist on the opposite side, you can cross your left ankle or left leg over, dropping the knees to the right. Feel free to gaze softly towards your left hand. Maybe close your eyes. And we'll slowly return back towards the center. Once you're there at the center, unwind the knees, set the feet onto the floor for a moment. Maybe lift your hips up and see if you can lengthen through your low back a touch, lowering the hips down slowly. Slide one leg forward and slide the other leg forward until we come into a resting position. For Shavasana or resting pose, let the feet drop away from the center line of your mat. You can have your hands resting comfortably on your abdomen. Maybe you want to have your arms stretched out, taking up lots of room. Maybe it would feel good to cover your eyes with a towel. Take a moment to soften your face and unhinge your jaw. If you'd like to, you could take a few cycles of cleansing breath, a few open mouth exhales to release any residual energy or tension. And today for Shavasana, I'll be guiding us through 61 Marma points. Marma points are points of the body that in Ayurveda they believe holds on to tension. And as we bring our focused mind to these areas of the body, remaining still, we can release those energy blockages. So all you have to do is lie there, be still, and just listen to the sound of my voice. At any time, my voice might fade away and you drop into a deeper state of rest. Let's begin. Space between your eyebrows. Hollow of your throat. Right shoulder joint. Right elbow joint. The bend of the right wrist joint. The tip of the right thumb. Tip of the right index finger. Tip of the right middle finger. Tip of the right ring finger. Tip of the right pinky finger. the bend of the right wrist, right elbow joint, right shoulder joint, heart center, left shoulder joint, left elbow joint, the bend of the left wrist joint, tip of the left thumb, tip of the left index finger, tip of the left middle finger, tip of the left ring finger, tip of the left pinky finger, the bend of the left wrist joint, left elbow joint, left shoulder joint, heart center, right side of the chest, heart center, left side of the chest, heart center, space just above the navel, navel center, right hip joint, right knee joint, right ankle joint, tip of the right big toe, tip of the right second toe, tip of the right third toe, tip of the right fourth toe, tip of the right baby toe, right ankle joint, right knee joint, right hip joint, left hip joint, left knee joint, left ankle, tip of the left big toe, tip of the left second toe, tip of the left third toe, tip of the left fourth toe, tip of the left baby toe, left ankle joint, left knee joint, left hip joint, navel center, space above the navel, heart center, hollow of the throat, space between the eyebrows. Allow your attention to rest in the space between the eyebrows. Feel your whole body get heavy. Sink deeper into the floor. And feel your whole body become light, as if you're floating up off of the floor. Rest your mind. Here we can begin to slowly reawaken our bodies. can bring a little bit of movement back to your toes and to your fingers. If you have additional time and you'd like to savor a much longer Shavasana, I invite you to stay in your Shavasana. If you're ready to come out of your Shavasana, stretch your arms long above your head, taking a full body stretch. Start to bend one knee then the other, sliding the heels in towards your seat and roll to your right side. You can rest your head across your right arm, allow your head to be heavy. Very slowly, we'll come up to a cross-legged seated position. You rise up to your cross-legged seat, bring your hands together at your heart center. Eyes can be closed, awareness still inward. Take a few conscious breaths, breathing in deeply. You take a moment to note if it feels easier to breathe now. You feel like there's more physical space in our body. When our emotions are high and we're feeling off-center, it often is represented in the breath feeling tight. So here, feel the freedom of your breath. And know that anytime that we want to, we can return back to our resource, our refuge, our inner sanctuary. Let's take a deep breath in. And when you exhale, gently bowing forward. Take a moment to bow to this inner refuge, this inner retreat, this inner peace. Take a moment to bow to your fellow yogis that practice with you today. Thank you so much for your amazing supportive energy. Taking a moment to bow, noticing the light within each and every one of us. Namaste.